looked like Josh Norman was out of that blue jersey today. How is he feeling, and how has he looked at practice this week?
Yeah, he's still progressing, going through to get ready. He has a few important days coming up here. We'll see how it goes, see where he is for the game.
You studied Kyler Murray enough the last couple of years. Do you notice anything different, what he's doing this year to get that completion percentage in the passing game?
I think it's still a similar, same offense where the ball is coming out quick. You have the quick throws, and the biggest thing I think they added a lot of playmakers around him where, he can get the ball out quick on screens. Running backs are running the ball well. So I think overall, schematically, they're doing a good job of getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. And you're not seeing Kyler, try to do it all himself as he kind of did in the past, whether it's trying to take off and run. He's not running as much. He can still run. He's still elusive. He's still fast. One of the quickest, fastest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Very talented guy. But and they surrounded him with a lot of playmakers, which makes it a very difficult offense to defend.
I appreciate D Ford's injury history, and I'm sure you have to be cautious with him. But he obviously looked fairly explosive on Sunday, but he only played 12 snaps. How do you balance that? And is the fact that he has a game where he just plays 12 snaps, is it watching out for him and making sure he can get through a whole season?
Yeah, D has done a great job for us. D has done a great job of getting after the quarterback, and that's what D does really well. And he's done it at a high level for a long time. So when it comes to snap counts or however that game dictates, each game is different. So whatever it dictates, for his snap counts, he's ready to go. He's shown the explosion, the speed off the edge, and he's been a playmaker for us. So I'm happy with where D is.
I guess when he is a playmaker and he does look explosive, why doesn't he play more than 12 snaps?
Yeah, that's the role we have now, And if it's 12 snaps, it's not a set, like D is only getting this amount of plays. However the game dictates his reps go, that's how it goes, right?
Warner talked about after Green Bay, everybody needing to be locked into their assignments, and it seemed like that happened versus Seattle a little bit more. What was it that changed in that week between that kind of got everybody refocused?
And I think it's humbling when you watch the tape and you see Green Bay, they played us well and they did some really good things, but you also see the mistakes that were self-inflicted. And it makes you sick to the stomach when you see those things. So having an opportunity to just sit back and just look at it and really focus in on how we can get better from the mental part of just being on the same page. And I think all the guys, like Fred is correct, all the guys just looking at it and seeing like, hey, it won't change. It's about us. If we're doing what we're supposed to do and make teams earn every yard, make teams have to drive the field on us, and we'll see how good they are, but let's not let the 49ers beat the 49ers. Let's not have self-inflicting penalties or mental errors where we're hurting ourselves. Let's just be as crisp as possible and play our style of football.
As a linebacker, how hard is it when you see a quarterback break out of the pocket to stay disciplined and not go after him staying behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of practice. When you see quarterbacks break out of the pocket, it's just your natural reaction is the guy's running with the ball, so I have to go up and get him. But you have to understand what Kyler has been our main focus all week is talking about plastering and coverage because, he's not escaping to run per se. He's escaping to hit the big explosive play. So our guys have to be disciplined and stay back in coverage, and we'll come up after he crosses the line of scrimmage.
What do you guys need to do to create more takeaways?
To create more takeaways, I think guys just have to keep plugging. I think we got 2 balls out this past Sunday, forced 2 fumbles, but the ball landed right back into the opponent's hand. So guys just have to keep doing what they're doing, have a mindset to go after the ball. When the ball is up in the air, have the mindset to go up and pick the ball off, be aggressive from that standpoint. So I think turnovers, they'll come. Guys just have to keep playing with the effort that they're playing with, keep attacking the ball the way they've been doing, and it'll bounce our way.
You look at Arizona's production receivers, there's like 5 of them with almost the same exact line. Are they running
the air raid to near perfection when they're that balanced, and how difficult is it to prepare for something that could go to any of those receivers?
Yeah, you have to be dialed in. Like you said, they have a lot of weapons. You know, when it comes to the receivers, probably the most complete group we'll see. You know, as far as the playmakers and guys who've been in this league and done it at a high level. So, you know, the ball can go anywhere. So everybody has to be on top of their job. Everybody just has to be disciplined from a defensive standpoint. Nobody has to panic or anything. Everybody just be disciplined, play with good eyes, and we'll make the plays we should make.
Jason Brett had a pretty admirable play last year against DeAndre Hopkins. Is he around at all, or sharing any notes with corners that are?
Yeah, JV has been around. You know, still see him. He's around, and you know, it's just lift your spirits to see him with the smile on his face, and he just, you know, he brings me joy just to see him around and still leading from that perspective, talking to the guys, making sure they're in tune with the game plan. He's in tune with what we're doing and the game plan every week. He's calling, talking to the guys, checking in on them. So JV is still around, still involved.
And the best advice maybe you can give them is to play confidently when you're going against a big guy like he does.
Oh, for sure. That's any corner, any safety, any DB. When you're matched up out there on some of the best athletes in the world, it's all about confidence. I think that's half the battle right there. You have to be confident in what you're doing and confident that you can make a play against anyone you line up against. So that's our corners or safeties have to have that mindset, and they will have it this week.
Why did you have to go with Dre Kirkpatrick and then Dante Johnson in the slot as opposed to Lenore in one of those two spots?
Yeah, we made some moves. We practiced throughout the week, and guys did a good job, and we went with what we felt like would be the best group for us going into this week.
Does he still have some, I know he started camp off. He didn't start playing in the slot until later on in camp. Is there still some room he has to learn in the slot?
Oh, for sure. I mean, rookie is a lot for a rookie to process and go out and handle, in a game. So I think he's still processing a lot. He's still coming along. He still has a lot of learning to do, a lot of growth. But that's any young player. That's how it's going to be for any young player. No young player is going to come in and have it all in 3 or 4 weeks. It is a maturity process that he has to go through, and he's battling. He's competing. He's still doing everything in the right way. Just has to keep working.
On the Russell Wilson rushing touchdown, it seemed like Eric Armstead took an inside rush on that play, and there was room on the outside. Is that Armstead's responsibility to keep that edge, or has that been an issue this year, last year, as far as running quarterbacks, them getting out on the edge?
Yeah, I think that particular play it involves more than just Armstead. Armstead, he took an inside move, but we have another D tackle to wrap off of. We have a linebacker who is a free player in the middle who has to play it better. So that play is just not on Eric himself. We have to play better as a group all around him.
How crucial though are the to keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket, the defensive ends in particular?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody, if he wants to get out of the pocket, so I'm telling he's going to get out of the pocket. Whether he retreats back 10 yards I think guys, you throw that out where you keep him in the pocket. Well, this guy's elusive enough. He's probably the fastest guy on the field. So if he wants to get out, he's going to get out.
What's your assessment? The numbers indicate they have done a lot from this perspective, but what's your assessment of Ebucom and RDP from other been as far as pass rushing?
Yeah, I think Samson and Arden have done a great job in the spots they've come into the games for us. One thing they play physical, they play hard, and it's one thing I love about both of those guys. They give us everything they have every time they're out on the field, and that's to be expected from those guys. That's what they do in practice all week. So I'm pleased with where Arden and Sampson is, and I'm pleased with the production that they were able to give us. All right. Thank you, guys.
So, yes, I have completed the Dave Chappelle Netflix special. If that's what you guys are wondering. It's awesome as always. Is that it? What are we doing? Questions, concerns, let's go.
That Jimmy Garoppolo will play this week.
Oh man. God, I wasn't expecting that one. So you caught me off guard. I've been looking for the crystal ball. Don't have it. No, what I can tell you is that Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the toughest football players I've ever been around. And he's been let's just say he hasn't taken the week off at all. Although he hasn't practiced, he's done every rep that we've done in practice with Rich Scangarillo and Bobby Slowick. Luckily for the 49ers, they're really tired because they've been grinding and making sure that he's prepared. And if he's healthy enough to play at the level that he expects for himself, he'll do that. But that's between Kyle and Jimmy Garoppolo. So really, Mike McDaniel is just prepared for everything. So much so that he's speaking in third person.
Speaking of the third person is a sign of preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until now, but yes.
This week, has Mike McDaniel installed more Trey Lance specific plays into the game?
No, really, that's what you try to do in the off season is build an offensive system that there's that flourishes everyone. Then you have specific things that are tailored to people's skill sets. But for instance, Trey Lance's touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel, that was a play that Jimmy repped all week. There's a lot of overlap and all that stuff. Yeah, and you guys have seen some plays. Defenses and the way the game flows dictates how many we run, but we have a lot of stuff up every week that hasn't been run. So it hasn't been that different, which is why when Jimmy Garoppolo goes out and Trey Lance goes in, the rest of our players, whether the plays work or not, the rest of our players are decisive, and you can tell it's cohesive. It's because it is one system, so it's not too crazy abnormal.
Said that the game plan wasn't, built for Trey, though. Is it sort of tough when you have, two quarterbacks who do have different skill sets to try and go into a game and balance that, not knowing?
No, again, the toughest part was in the off season trying to make sure that our system both highlighted both players, but also allowed the rest of our players to know what to do. You can't put in too much offense or two different offenses. Otherwise, you wouldn't be good at anything, and your players would be spread thin. So that was the toughest part. Systematically, we've gotten used to it, where now we go into a game and we have certain plays for Trey every week, but Trey is trying to master the art of quarterback. And so he's working at every single play that you see Jimmy run on Sundays. Those are plays that he's running in his mind and working with Rich Scangarillo every day between periods and after practice. So it's really not as challenging. It was challenging, but not nearly as much as it was in the off season.
Pistol did Trey do at North Dakota State, and is that, I don't want to say second nature, but is he comfortable in the pistol formation?
Well, as far as the techniques and the way we want to run stuff, he had done pistol, but that's something that our offense has been working on in the off season, and you see Jimmy do it once in a while, and that's something that you don't just all of a sudden put in. There's timing to everything. Every play that we run, you're trying to be orchestrated correctly, and when there's a handoff, the running back, wow, I thought the answer was good, or at least average. No, you're fine. Oh. I hope everything's okay. But no, that it's something that we've had in our offenses that I remember back in the first time we ran pistol in Washington in 2013. It was something that you realize that hey, you have to fully commit to and work on it every day for it to be in your offense. So we have worked on that every day with all of our quarterbacks. And I mean, shoot, if you watch our opening games against in Cleveland in 2014 against the Steelers, as a matter of fact, we're doing no huddle stuff, and Brian Hoyer's in the pistol the whole time. It's something that you try to orchestrate. You have different reasons to do it, and so we didn't necessarily bank on all the collegiate work, which wasn't a ton. He was familiar with it, but he didn't live in it. But we really, have this off season have to work on that to make sure that everyone's on the same page and everything times out right.
I'll defer.
A lot of Trey's dropbacks, and it's understandable. Week 4 of his rookie season, his background, etc. But just looked kind of frantic and sped up. Is that a fair assessment? And obviously, the more he plays, will things slow down?
Reps are important in everything in life, I've found. But he's 21 years old, and he's a rookie, and like every other position, we're talking about improvement and growth, and we're never satisfied. And you have to get into a rhythm, and sometimes you come out. If your first possession in basketball, you get fouled and you go to the free throw line, you might hit the front rim. You work through it. That's something that there were plays that he was very rhythmic, and there was plays that the game's fast, and that's the biggest thing that you have to. That's why those reps. I think this first preseason game, I said I was excited for him to fail, and he kind of gave me crap about that because he was like, "Dang," but it wasn't. No, it's that that there's gonna be things that you just don't know what the things are until it's real live bullets. You feel there's a comfort area in practice, but in real live bullets, there's things that happen, and then you're like, hey, we can identify those and work on those, and you can actually hear what I'm saying because now you've taken that in and understood directly. Oh yeah, I get what you mean about pass rush and zoning defenders and how fast things happen. So I think during the game he got into a rhythm. The score dictated that you saw a lot of drop back action, which I think is compounding that too. You try not to drop back and throw with any quarterback every single play, but sometimes the score dictates that. And then there's a lot of plays that he looked frantic because there were some pass rush issues too. There's a lot of compounding variables. I'm sure the next time he plays that it'll continue to look better and then better and better, and that's the whole goal, and that's what he's focused on.
But was the expectation coming into the season to use Trey more like you did in that preseason finale against the Raiders? I know Shanahan said he wanted the Lions to prepare for both and all that stuff, but is there an element of like you expected Trey to play more and then you had to dial it back for certain reasons once the regular season started?
No, you really just wanted to give it a try because you just don't know what you approach everything week by week, and you're trying to win a game, and you're saying, okay, what advantage does this give us? What doesn't? And you're trying not to predict the future because you don't know the way things are going to play out with the defenses that you're going against. So you want to be prepared if you need to do that, and that doesn't mean that that's not going to happen ever again. But we wanted our players to feel that, and we also, we've been bit plenty of times. I'm sure you guys are familiar. We have injuries once in a while, and so like we don't want to sit here last year at week 2, in 2020 or whatever year that was, in week 2 we lost our starting quarterback, and you see directly how that affects the team, and so you want the team to be prepared. You also want to be, Kyle is sitting there looking at it like, hey, we want to give Detroit something to think about, and maybe down the road I want to do this. And you don't want the first time that you ever do it to be, oh yeah, it's game on the line, division game against the Arizona Cardinals. We're 2-2, they're 4-0. Let's just try this. You know what I mean? So there's nothing in that game, or nothing that Trey's done has deviated. It's just been, hey, what gives us the best chance to win? I prepare for everything to happen, and Kyle says, okay, we're going this way, and I say, how fast?
Mike,
Couple more?
you talked about the art of quarterbacking that Trey's trying to catch up to. In terms of the art of improvisation, off-schedule plays, his skill set obviously lends itself to it. How comfortable are you with coaches with him deviating off of everything you guys have planned?
It's funny because you, as a coach, you kind of a product of your environment, and like you get used to plays needing to be on schedule for them to be good plays. So you adjust as a coach when you have a skill set such as Trey's. You have to remind yourself, hey, it's okay if it goes off schedule because we're in a bottom line business, and did it get yards or score points? So it is an adjustment for us, but it's a very quick and easy adjustment. You just have to keep reminding yourself, because you do usually think through a scope of, hey, if number 2 or 3 isn't open, our guy just got hit, so it better be open. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, it's okay if somebody breaks the pocket. So that was an adjustment. I mean, we felt it in the game, but then you're like, oh, okay, we just got a first down, so you just end up adjusting to whatever, same as every other position, good, bad, or equal.
This is not meant as a snarky question because the play didn't work. In my curiosity, how do you recognize, or like the throwback with Jack Fitzpatrick? Do you know something in his background, or you see him throwing in practice where you say, okay?
Yeah, no, when I was evaluating his middle school tape, I was like, yep. No, that's something that you're looking at an opponent, you have a reason to do it, and then you say, okay, who can do it? And then you kind of do a tryout amongst the positions, see who does it the best, and then you try to put them in pressure situations in practice and see how they hold up. Kyle's great at putting pressure on people, and so we had confidence in it because he made sure that he could throw from point A to point B, which he did, and that was the biggest thing. It didn't, in the end result wasn't exactly what we'd wanted, but the reason to do it and why we wanted to do it, we were happy with the end result, and that was something that we worked on. What you do is you end up doing that early in the week, and then rep the play numerous times, so that because you don't want to do a disservice to all other 10 players, and the player himself. You don't want him to, all of a sudden he goes out there in a national football game and is on Sports Center's not top 10 because he triple bounced a, you know what I mean?
It took several seasons to get full confidence and command of the offense. Where do you feel Trey Lance is in that his progress of getting command of the offense?
I feel like he's in the boat with a lot of rookies in terms of you're looking at him and you're like, this isn't the end result. I think every day he shows us that, I mean, he's wise beyond his years, much more mature than I was at his age. I can tell you that much. Very, very, very smart. And as far as expectations, we expected him to be a rookie who threw 300 and some odd passes in college. But you know what? In an NFL football game, this season, he's had more 2-minute reps than he's had his entire college career. I'm not sure if you guys know, but he's really good at winning football games in high school and college, so he's never behind. So these are all just knowing that on the front end, you know there's going to be a lot of things to grow on. And he knows that as well, which is why when bad things happen, he doesn't blink. You know, he had an incompletion on a 4-yard throw and then throws a 76-yard touchdown pass. Like, you know that there's going to be some hiccups along the road. You accept that, but you just try to do the best you can and continue to improve. That's the biggest thing. Is you just don't want to you don't want to regress. You want to find a thing, improve on it, fix it, go to the next thing. And he's hungry enough to keep doing that, which is why we're pumped to have him.
Thank you, Mike.
All right. I'll do better.
Feeling, how's the shoulder?
I feel all right. Be okay.
What exactly happened?
You know, I was trying to go back in to help my guard, and I ended up tripping over his dude feet, and I just came down on my elbow, but it, obviously affected my shoulder. So
You looked a little emotional coming off the field. Were you surprised by how positive the news was?
yeah. I honestly, didn't think I had to come out. I got up, and then I think maybe it took me a little minute. I don't know, but we were kind of up against the play clock as well, so it was kind of a collective, discussion. Like, just go down so we can at least. It was fourth down, but I'm like, man, I ain't trying to come out on the most important, possession of the game. But yeah, I mean, when I went to the tent, they were just kind of concerned, about the place of all the pain, and so they just wanted to go get an X-ray really quick before they sent me back out there. So that's why I looked pissed, because I was really, I feel like that was the worst time to be leaving the game.
Gone back and forth to the locker room on a cart for cramps too. Have you ever done anything like that before in a game where you get carted back onto it?
No, the cart was just for convenience, to save the time. Plus, I don't know if I would have made it to the locker room without cramping. But the cramps it's a different thing, man. And I was just like telling, it was an internal discussion. Like, do I say something now, or do I wait till I lock up? And that could be in the middle of a third down while I'm trying to protect the quarterback. And so I had to come to terms with myself. I didn't want to be a liability, so luckily we picked the right time to go get the IV, and I ain't miss a play. So
You'll be protecting the quarterback this Sunday.
yeah, I think so.
You'll be protecting the quarterback named Trey Lance this Sunday.
I don't know. We'll see how Jimmy comes along. I'll let Coach make that decision. But I got my job cut out for me, so that's all I'm focusing on.
You helped prep Trey for a potential start on Sunday.
Oh, I don't think I've done anything to help him. I'm not qualified for the help that he would need, but I'd just be a confidant, somebody he can kind of lean on or something. But as far as playing quarterback in the National Football League, I'm not the expert on that.
Seen him improve in camp and in games since training camp?
Yeah, of course. He's a very sharp kid. You see him improve play by play, even after running a play twice. The second time he runs it, he's well ahead. So I mean, he's a smart guy. That's why he got picked where he got picked. I mean, the information is nothing for him. It's just getting in the groove, and like I said, starting in the National Football League, starting quarterback is the hardest position in football, maybe in sports. So that's a tough deal, and it takes a little time. And luckily, I mean, hopefully we can kind of rally around him, and if need to, and make his job a little easier on him. But that's a battle for Trey to fight, and that's why he's where he at.
On Sunday, at times it was messy and frantic and stuff, but you look up and he did throw 2 touchdown passes and he runs for 43 yards and he has a 2-point conversion run. Like, he did stuff. Maybe he muscled through a lot, but I mean, do you see something there, whether it's his competitiveness or will, just to kind of make things happen when maybe he's not quite ready for all this?
Yeah, I think it was all competitive nature and will, and just knowing how to compete and competing at a high level. I mean, we literally, even at making halftime adjustments, we had no idea that Jimmy wasn't going. So he literally learned that he was going as we were running to take the field, and obviously we get the ball first. So he didn't have but a few minutes just to get his mind right. He sat on. It's been for him, it's probably an hour and a half since he last stretched, in pregame warm-up. So that's a pretty tough deal to do. I've never had to do that, so I can't really give him advice on that. But I think he handled it pretty well. He looked like he was ready for the moment. He didn't look like it was a shocker to him. He didn't look like he was timid in any way. He actually had a confident aura around him where you just kind of start to believe in him the more you're around him. So we knew that we had our work cut out for us, especially in the second half. But I feel like for what situation he was put in, I don't think we could ask for anything better.
As an offensive lineman, when plays start to break down and he looks to escape the pocket, is there an adjustment, just trying to figure out where he's trying to escape and how to adjust that?
No, try not to hold. I mean, that's when most of the holding penalties come, is when when the plays break down and the guy you're blocking all of a sudden goes a different way than you're expecting. So I think the only challenge is just trying to avoid the flag on that. Most times when he's pulling the ball down to run, he's running off instinct, and so it'd be no way we can kind of predict which way is going to be his escape route.
I don't know if you're in a hurry to be back in Arizona after ending last year there. Does it bring up any emotions, like thinking back on what that was? Like, what was that experience like?
I hadn't even thought about it till you said that. I mean, it's just something we had to do. I didn't look at it as something that was emotional or unfair or anything. I was just like, and during 2020 was the year we all had to make some adjustments, and that was one of the things we had to do. We had to make adjustments on the fly. And, I mean, we couldn't complain about it. We still had teams coming in to Arizona instead of San Francisco wanting to kick our butt. So, I mean, we could have sat and pout about it, but it wouldn't have changed the scenario. So I honestly didn't even think about it until you just brought it up. I'm glad, but we got real familiar with the stadium. So, I mean, it'll probably be a few thousand screaming fans in there this time. So maybe a little different.
About it in training camp, but now that you've had more time with Trey here and seeing him get integrated into the offense, so you were on that Washington team in 2012 with RG3. Are there similarities in this offense that are going to be run, and how much do you think the offense has evolved with what Trey's going to run potentially versus what Robert ran?
Yeah, I think from what Robert ran and what Trey is running now, it's still read option, so to speak, but I don't think it's not a lot of parallels you could draw from 2012 to now. I mean, Cal he was 30 then, his second year offensive coordinator. So now, it's completely different. Schemes are way more intricate. There's a lot of things that plays off of that, a lot of plays that look like that and can be something else. So it's totally different. So I don't even really. It's hard to draw parallels to that situation.
Talked about how the challenge for them during the offseason was making the offense feasible for both Jimmy and Trey. Do you see a lot of difference in what you have done last year versus this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we added in the whole type of package that Trey basically specializes in, and so I think that's the biggest difference. We got a lot of read option stuff in, a lot of, movement stuff, and getting the quarterback outside the pocket. A lot of quarterback runs that obviously we wouldn't run with Jimmy. But yeah. I mean, Mike and Cal, they're some of the smartest football minds you come around. So you give them an off season to scheme up things, they're gonna come up with some pretty cool schemes and pretty nice ways to open up weapons down the field. So, I got total trust in them, and just looking at the schemes that they came up with and during the camp and now just for him, you don't have anything. It's hard not to have confidence in it, because on paper it looks really good. Now we got to go out there on Sunday and make it happen, but I'm definitely impressed with what they've done.
You guys have injuries at running back, and the running game got going a little bit more against the Seahawks. But from an offensive line perspective, what needs to change for you guys to get going with the running game in the way that you guys have used to?
I thought we ran the ball pretty well versus Seattle. Especially the first half, we controlled. I think some of those key turnovers hurt us to where we couldn't continue with our game plan and how we wanted to run it. But the run, it's gonna be like that. You never get out and say, "Oh, we just gonna run the ball down these people's throat." You never know. Like, you can have a team that's last versus run and just have a good scheme versus what you like to do, and the run game can be slow. You can have somebody that's first against the run and just really be out schemed, and you can gash them. So, it's football, man. I've been doing this a long time. There's no two things are the same, and when we get off the bus, you really don't know how the game is going to go until that ball gets kicked off and you get a couple series. You just never know. So it's hard to answer your question. I know that long as we continue to be kind of on it and focus and play together, I think we can always get the running game going. But like I said, that's a lot easier said than done. So
Pass rusher.
just the ability to do everything. He's right now at the pinnacle of pass rushing. talk about the NFL today, he's at the pinnacle. He's the top. So, and I think he is that way because of his large array of moves. He can power you. He can quick inside. He can get around the edge. He can do everything. So that what makes him so tough to block, so tough to contain, and so that's why I say I got my work cut out for me. We got a lot of battles in the that we've archived, but every game is different, and I know that every game I play him, he brings everything he got. He gives me the hardest test all year, so that's what I'm expecting. Sucks we got to play him twice a year, but it's come with the territory. All right.
Is it a similar from, I guess, whatever, classroom perspective and everything, when you play Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray? Are they different types of mobile quarterbacks, and do they affect your job duties?
I would say it's the same. I mean, even with any quarterback, even with Aaron Rodgers, like once they get outside the pocket, it's like, okay, we gotta match up and try to cover our guy even longer. So I think it's all the same once the QB escape the pocket.
Had a different cornerback combination for all 4 games. How does that affect you and Jimmy? And are you impressed with how quickly these guys have each gotten up to speed in order to play on Sunday?
Yes, I mean, got to give credit to Kyle and John. A lot of guys come in and they're professionals about their business and come in just trying to learn the defense and, be ready be ready once they're on the field. So, Dre came in and did a great job for us. Norm came in and did a great job for us. So it don't really matter who in. It's all about just, if you out there on the field, it's all about communicating. We got to have each other back.
Would be Norm.
Yeah, Norm. I call him Norm. I just call him J-No, Norm. I just different names, different times.
Pretty scary injury he went through. How does he kind of come through that last 2 weeks?
He's been doing well. To be honest, I'm quite surprised. Like with his injury, I was like, man, that's brutal. That's like worse than a rib injury, I think. But he's been battling, and credit to him. He's been trying to come back, and he's back this week. So good to have him back on board.
Known as a good communicator. What are you trying to do with these new guys in order to make sure that everybody's on the same page? What's your process during the week when it's someone who's starting for the first time in this defense?
Well, just certain things, certain formations that we game plan, and just really it's all about alerting. Like we as a defense, the back end, we always try to alert each other for certain things. So it's just over communicating at different times.
A couple of weeks into the season, you said your toe still wasn't totally right.
Yeah.
Where is it still? Do you still feel it, or is it where is it?
Yeah, it's long as I can play, I'm good. I think it's something I'm gonna have to deal with for the rest of this year, but I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be good.
Warner talked about how all 11 of you really need to play discipline, especially when facing Kyler Murray. That change kind of improved from Green Bay to Seattle. What was it that you guys did to really promote that?
again, like a game of football, you know, we have coaches, but it's all about mindset and trying to do right the longest. And really, it's all about us. And we understand that as players, like these games we play, it come down to every single play. It's not the last play that end up, that make us lose. It's every single play. So for us, we know that every single play is important. So we just try to take it one play at a time.
The first half, the three straight drives Seattle had that ended with sack, and two by D, and Nick, it felt like kind of 2019-ish. It didn't quite last, but to you, does that indicate the potential of this pass rush that it can get there?
No doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, like we got to play for 60 minutes. Like we did it for one half, and for us, it's like even like we gotta if Seattle created 3 or 4 turnovers, we should create 5 as a defense. So if we're not doing that, like we're not doing our job. So I mean, the goal is to get the ball for the offense and play as good as complimentary football as we can.
Last one. Do you see improvement from Kyler Murray over the past? You faced him quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean he's having a phenomenal start of the year. They have some guys. AJ, he still can go. They got D Hop. The running backs looking really good on film, and I mean it's an explosive offense. So we definitely got to be disciplined, and we got our work cut out for us this week.
All right, thanks, Bosky.
All right, thank you.
you?
Looked like you were running very hard and very decisively Sunday. Was that any more, well, it was harder, but was it more decisive maybe than you've been able to be in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it just goes with me just getting more comfortable in the offense and just getting the flow of the offensive line. And I felt like each week, each practice, I'm just getting better and better at it, and it showed up in the game.
Obviously, doing a fair amount of zone read with Trey, and perhaps you might do that Sunday if he starts and all that. But I assume you're pretty comfortable with that, familiar with that from college. Is that right?
Yes, I've done a lot of that at Oklahoma and Ohio State, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
Does it differ, from place to place to place? I mean, are 49ers running it differently than other teams do?
No, I mean it's still pretty much the same. The zone read scheme, it doesn't really get too much different. I mean, besides the guys running it, but I mean, again, it's all pretty similar.
You guys don't seem to have a definite third down back since Michael went down. How demanding is that role? I mean, what makes that different than being on the field on first and second? And is Bobby Turner really demanding when it comes to knowing your P's and Q's about that role?
Yes, he is. I mean, you really got to be on it because again, it's a key down, and the goal is to get the first. So, I mean, he coaches us all hard so that we can execute it. I mean, again, just being on our P's and Q's, and Juice has done a great job out there. But again, he coaches us all to be able to go out there and execute it.
Mostert's been around the team even though he hasn't been playing. He had a similar path where it was challenging for him to kind of get into the speed of the offense. Have you used him as a reference tool?
Yes, me and Raheem, we talk quite a bit, and he's constantly just coaching me up. I mean, just helping me see things, whether we're in practice, he catches me on the side, or even in the game. I mean, when I'm coming back to the sideline, he's there just coaching me up, telling me what he saw and asking me what I saw. So, I mean, he's definitely been a big help for me.
The fact that he didn't necessarily excel right when he got the running back, does that kind of comfort you a little bit?
Yes, it does. I mean, just having somebody who was in my shoes and they're familiar with it, I mean, it's definitely comforting. And I mean, just constantly getting advice from him is definitely helpful.
A number of you rookies have been thrown into situations that maybe you weren't planning on being thrown into at the beginning of training camp in the season. Is that something you guys lean on each other about and talk to each other about?
Yes, we do. I mean, we're all pretty close, and we all have a great relationship with each other. So, I mean, we definitely lean on each other. Just help us talk through things and get through stuff, and just constantly just motivating each other.
Any piece of advice that Raheem's given to you that you really it really hit home for you?
Really, just trust myself. I mean, everybody believes in me here, and I just got to believe in myself, and just because I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know how to do it and everything. It just comes down to just believing it and trusting in myself that I can go execute and play at a high level.
Frustrating when you know you can do it, you feel like you can, but then you have those setbacks, or not necessarily setbacks, but it's not maybe going as well as you would want it to.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely frustrating, but at the same time, I mean, I know that it'll come. I just have to keep working hard, keep working at my craft, and everything will work out.
When you first got here and you guys were installing the offense in the offseason, how much Washington game film from 12 and 13 and Cleveland from 14 did you watch just to see how they ran, pistol and zone read, all that stuff?
Quite a bit of it, especially just talking with Coach Turner. We looked through a lot of the Washington film and just looking at that. I mean, because they were able to execute it, and that's really the tape that we looked at the most.
There was a rookie running back then, Alfred Morris, in 2012. Did that ever strike you like, okay, rookie can do it this well.
Mhm.
I forget where he finished in rushing, but it was up there.
Yep.
I might be able to do the same.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I know Coach Turner. I mean, he coaches us all the same as he did then. He coaches us hard now. And I mean, again, just looking back at the film, seeing a rookie come in and do it, I mean, it's motivating and for me because I mean, I know Coach T is going to coach me hard, and I can go out there and execute it as well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Left.
All right.
A surprise appearance.
Oh, I am? On Thursday?
You're a Thursday regular now.
Yeah.
You're good. You're in the Thursday club. Welcome.
I like my Thursdays. You guys?
Just from our vantage point, those first 5 drives, the pass rush looked like prime pass rush again, like what we had seen at your best in 2019. How does it feel from your shoes when you guys are clicking like that? And what do you think really sparked that fluidity from the pass rush?
I think we just came out with a good mindset, but it does feel really good when it's 3 and out every drive, and I think we took the mindset of stopping the run, and whenever you do that, it gives you opportunities, and we called some good pressures and had some good rushes from guys, and that's what we're going to need if we're going to be the team that we want to be. So it was a good feeling. That felt like 2019.
It is a snowball effect where that first drive went so well, and then for that mentality, you can have it going into drives 2 and 3.
Say it one more time.
How much of that is a snowball effect where you build off of the success that you had in drive 1?
Yeah, whenever you feel like you could just beat up on somebody, it gives you more confidence, and you just keep going. But we just got to do it a little longer because whenever you're playing a really good quarterback, it really doesn't matter. He could make a few good plays, and the game could be close. So.
You've seen Kyler Murray quite a few times now. Is there anything different about him this season? What have you seen growth-wise from him?
Yeah, I mean he's been really good since he came in, and I think he's just being a little smarter with the ball and how he's always been good at protecting himself and running, but not taking hits, and he's still doing that, and it's always a challenge. So we're excited.
You get to know him pretty well back in 2019, just having gone through the draft process and then awards circle.
No, not too much. I met him and we hung out maybe twice, but not. No.
Do you feel, Nick, that you are a much better football player than 2019 in terms of not just whatever you're doing physical, but you can anticipate how plays are being run and where to be?
I think definitely a lot better than early in the season 2019. Just having knowledge and knowing how to be most effective. But I'm still getting better this year, and but yeah, I've definitely come a long way, and just with the mental aspect, and I think physically I'm better too.
At Chargers Raiders game the other day, you saw your brother go after the ball, get a clear shot on the quarterback, but he hit the ball instead and forced a fumble. Is that, advanced defensive end? Is that something that you guys, anything specific you work on in the off season to sort of hone in on swiping at the ball instead of just hitting the guy?
I mean, whenever you win clean, and especially when you're on the left side and the ball's right there, it's pretty easy to just knock it out. On the right side, it's kind of has to be kind of a perfect tomahawk while he's throwing it, or else he'll just tuck it. But when it's right in front of you, just knocking it out is. But yeah, you want to go for the ball every time when you can.
About a mental aspect of your improvement. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Just not wasting pass rushes and knowing what I do best and using that and coming out with the mindset that I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try and come up with crazy game plans every week and try and be finesse and do all this stuff. Just knowing what I do best and going and doing it.
Is this going to feel like a kind of a weird homecoming since you guys spent so much time in Arizona last season?
I didn't, so I'm sure it's going to be a sad homecoming for some of our guys because they did not enjoy that. Thanks, guys.